Some people think revenge has to be loud, that it has to come with screaming and broken plates and dramatic exits. But the quietest revenge is often the most powerful. This is the story of how I destroyed the perfect image my wife had built, without saying a single angry word. My name is Daniel, and I'm 34 years old. For 7 years, I thought I knew my wife. I thought we had built something real together. I was wrong. Let me start 3 days before everything changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was looking for our tax documents in the kitchen drawer where we kept all our important papers. Receipts, warranties, random stuff we told ourselves we'd organize someday. That's when I found it. A receipt from a restaurant downtown. The Paper Moon. An expensive place neither of us could really afford. The date on the receipt was from 2 weeks ago. A Thursday night. The same Thursday night my wife, Rachel, told me she was working late on a big project. 2 dinners, 2 cocktails, 1 dessert to share. Total bill, $187. My hand started shaking as I held that piece of paper. Rachel and I hadn't been to a nice restaurant in months. We'd been saving money for a down payment on a house. Every dollar mattered. So who did she take to this expensive dinner? I could have confronted her right then. I could have waved the receipt in her face and demanded answers. But something stopped me. I needed to know more first. That night, I acted normal. I kissed her when she got home from work. I asked about her day. I made dinner like I always did on Tuesdays. But inside, my mind was racing. After Rachel fell asleep, I did something I'd never done before. I picked up her phone from the nightstand. She always used her birthday as her passcode. 4 simple numbers I'd watched her type 1,000 times. The phone unlocked. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might wake her up. I opened her messages and started scrolling. Most of it was normal. Texts to her mom, group chats with friends, work stuff. Then I saw a name I didn't recognize. Marcus. I opened the thread. The first few messages seemed innocent enough. How was your day? And that meeting was so boring. Typical coworker stuff. But then I scrolled further back. To 2 weeks ago. To that Thursday. Can't wait for tonight. I've been thinking about you all day. You look beautiful. That dress is perfect on you. Last night was amazing. When can I see you again? I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. The room started spinning. I had to put the phone down before I dropped it. Rachel was cheating on me. My wife. The woman I'd built a life with. The woman I trusted more than anyone. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there on my side of the bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the last few months in my head. Were there signs I missed? Times she came home late? Nights she was distant? Yes. Of course there were. I'd just chosen to believe her excuses. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face my coworkers, couldn't pretend everything was fine. Rachel left for the office like nothing was wrong. She kissed me goodbye at the door and told me to feel better. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her I knew. I wanted to throw something, but I didn't. Instead, I made a plan. Over the next 2 days, I went back to her phone every chance I got. I took screenshots of everything. The messages, the photos she'd sent him, the plans they'd made. I found more receipts hidden in her car. Coffee shops, another dinner, a hotel. A hotel. That one broke me. It meant this wasn't just emotional. It wasn't just talking. They'd been together. Actually together. I cried in my car for an hour that afternoon. Ugly, painful crying that left my eyes swollen and my chest aching. But I still didn't confront her. Not yet. On the 3rd day, Rachel came home excited. She'd gotten some kind of recognition at work. A big project she'd been leading had been successful, and her boss had praised her in front of the whole team. "We should celebrate," she said, her eyes bright. "Let's invite some friends over this weekend. Just a casual dinner, nothing fancy." I looked at her. This woman who was sleeping with someone else. This woman who was lying to my face every single day. And she wanted to celebrate. "Sure," I said. "That sounds great." She had no idea what was coming. That weekend, Rachel went all out. She cleaned the house until it sparkled. She bought expensive cheese and wine. She even wore the dress I'd always said I loved on her. Our friends started arriving around 6. Mike and Sarah, Kevin and Jen, Tom. People we'd known for years. People who thought Rachel and I were the perfect couple. Rachel was glowing. She kept laughing that specific laugh she saved for when she wanted people to think she was carefree and happy. She told stories about work. She played the perfect hostess. I helped her serve dinner. I smiled. I poured wine. I acted like everything was normal. But under the table, my leg was shaking. My stomach was in knots. I could barely eat. After dinner, Rachel brought out dessert, a chocolate cake she'd spent all afternoon making. "I want to make a toast," I said, standing up with my wine glass. Everyone got quiet. They all looked at me, smiling, expecting some sweet speech about how proud I was of Rachel. "I want to talk about honesty," I began. "About trust. About how fragile relationships really are." Rachel's smile faltered slightly, but she kept it together. "I've been thinking a lot lately about the stories we tell ourselves," I continued. "The narratives we build about our lives, about who we are and what our relationships mean." I reached under my chair and pulled out a photo album, one I'd put together that morning. "I made this to celebrate our time together," I said. "All the memories we've built." I handed the album to Sarah, who was sitting closest to me. She opened it. The first few pages were normal. Photos from our wedding, vacations we'd taken, holidays with family. Everyone was smiling, passing the album around, making comments about how young we looked in certain pictures. But then Sarah got to a page near the middle. Her smile disappeared. Her eyes went wide. She looked at me, then at Rachel, then back at the album. "Keep going," I said quietly. Tucked between the photos were the receipts, the screenshots of messages, a napkin from the paper moon with a note written in Rachel's handwriting that said, "Thank you for tonight," with a heart. The room got very, very quiet. Jen took the album from Sarah. She flipped through the pages, her hand covering her mouth. Kevin looked at the evidence and then at Rachel. "Is this real?" he asked. Rachel's face had gone completely white. She was frozen in her chair, staring at the album like it was a snake about to bite her. "I didn't want to make a scene," I said calmly. "I didn't want to scream or throw things or cause drama. I just wanted everyone to see the truth. The truth Rachel's been hiding for months." "Daniel," Rachel started, her voice shaking. "Don't," I said. Not angry, just tired. "Please don't." She stood up. Her chair scraped against the floor. She looked around the room at all our friends staring at her. Then she grabbed her purse and ran out the door. Nobody went after her. For a long moment, nobody said anything at all. Then Sarah came over and hugged me. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. One by one, our friends said similar things. They were shocked, angry on my behalf, sad for me. They stayed for a little while longer, helping me clean up, asking if I needed anything, offering to be there if I wanted to talk. But eventually, they all left, and I was alone in the house Rachel and I had shared. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I filed for separation. I changed all the passwords to our shared accounts. I took my name off the lease for the apartment we'd been renting. I didn't post what happened on social media. I didn't send the screenshots to Rachel's family. I didn't need to. The album had done more damage than any angry post ever could. It had destroyed the image Rachel cared about most, the image of herself as a good person, as someone who had it all together. Our entire friend group knew now. There was no way to spin it. No way to make herself look like the victim. Rachel tried calling me, texting me. She left voicemails crying and apologizing. But I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. A week after the dinner, I moved my stuff out while Rachel was at work. I didn't take much. Just my clothes, my books, a few things that mattered to me. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. That night in my new studio apartment, I felt something strange. Not satisfaction, not happiness. Just emptiness. The revenge hadn't made me feel better the way I thought it would. It hadn't healed the hurt or erased the betrayal. I'd traded one kind of pain for another, the pain of being lied to for the pain of being alone. The apartment was too quiet. My hands didn't know what to do at night. I'd gotten so used to the rhythm of living with someone that being by myself felt wrong. But I also knew I'd done the right thing. Rachel needed to see herself clearly, to see what she'd done and who she'd become. The album forced her to face the mirror she'd been avoiding. Whether she learned anything from it, I don't know. I hope she did. I hope she stops breaking people the way she broke me. But even if she doesn't, at least I walked away with my dignity intact. I didn't beg her to stay. I didn't scream or cry or make a fool of myself. I simply showed the truth and let it speak for itself. A month has passed since that dinner. I'm starting to feel like myself again, slowly. I've been seeing a therapist. She's helping me work through the anger and sadness and confusion. My friends check in on me regularly. They invite me to things. They make sure I'm not isolating myself. And I'm learning to be alone without being lonely, to find peace in the quiet instead of running from it. I've thought a lot about that night, about whether I should have handled it differently. Part of me wonders if I was too cruel, if exposing Rachel in front of everyone was taking it too far. But then I remember all the lies, all the nights she came home and kissed me after being with him, all the times she looked me in the eye and made me feel crazy for suspecting anything. She made her choices. I just made sure everyone knew about them. The truth is, I didn't ruin her life. She did that herself when she decided to cheat. I just refused to help her hide it. There's a difference between revenge and accountability. Revenge is about making someone hurt as much as you do. Accountability is about making sure someone faces the consequences of their actions. What I did was hold Rachel accountable. I made her face what she'd done in front of the people whose opinions she cared about most. Was it harsh? Maybe. But it was also honest. And after months of living in her lies, honesty felt like the only weapon I had left. I don't know what Rachel's doing now. I don't check her social media. I don't ask our mutual friends about her. That chapter of my life is closed. I'm focused on writing new ones. I'm dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. I'm learning to trust again, slowly. And I'm building a life that's mine, not ours, just mine. To anyone going through something similar, here's what I learned. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to beg to have value. You don't have to light yourself on fire to prove a point. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away with your head held high and let the truth do the talking. Rachel thought she could have it all. The perfect marriage, the exciting affair, the admiration of our friends. But you can't build a life on lies forever. Eventually, the foundation crumbles. I'm glad I was the one who exposed the cracks instead of waiting for the whole thing to collapse on top of me. I'm not grateful for the pain, but I am grateful for the clarity, for finally seeing who Rachel really was instead of who I wanted her to be. And I'm grateful that I had the strength to walk away instead of staying and pretending everything was fine. That dinner party wasn't my proudest moment, but it was my most honest one. And in the end, honesty was the only thing that set me free. That chapter of my life is closed, but closure doesn't happen overnight. For weeks after that dinner, I still woke up reaching for the other side of the bed. I'd roll over and hit cold sheets, then lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering how a person you loved for years could suddenly feel like a stranger. The mind plays cruel tricks when it's trying to heal. Every memory becomes a question mark. Was she already lying when she laughed that night on the couch? When she said she missed me on those work trips? Healing meant replaying every detail until I got tired of my own thoughts. The loneliness came in waves. Grocery shopping for one. Cooking too much food because I was used to feeding two. Even the smallest habits felt hollow. But slowly I started filling the silence with new things, audiobooks, late-night walks, a gym membership I'd ignored for months. Small steps that reminded me I was still here, still capable of moving forward. One evening, my therapist said something that stuck. You didn't lose love. You lost an illusion. At first, I resisted that. It felt too simple. But over time, I realized she was right. The marriage I thought I had never really existed, not in the way I believed. Rachel wasn't the person I built in my head, and that realization hurt. But it also freed me. It meant I could stop mourning what never was, and start appreciating what might still be ahead. I started writing again, nothing big, just journaling. Putting thoughts on paper helped me untangle the chaos in my mind. Each entry became a reminder that pain isn't permanent, that truth, even when it burns, eventually cleanses. A few weeks later, I went back to the paper moon. Alone, I sat at the same kind of table where Rachel once sat with Marcus. I ordered one drink, one entree, and watched couples around me laugh, unaware of the ghosts that haunted that place. Strangely, it didn't hurt. It felt like reclaiming something that had been stolen, not the restaurant, but the part of me that could sit alone and feel peaceful. When I left, I didn't look back at the door. For the first time in months, I didn't need to. I heard through mutual friends that Rachel and Marcus didn't last. Apparently, the affair lost its appeal once it wasn't secret anymore. Turns out the excitement wasn't about him at all. It was about the lies, the sneaking around, the double life she'd been living. When everything came out into the open, when there was nothing left to hide, Marcus lost interest. Or maybe Rachel did. I don't really care which. What I do know is that she's alone now too, living in a different apartment, working at the same job but eating lunch by herself because our friends chose sides, and most of them chose mine. I don't take pleasure in that. I'm not happy she's struggling. I'm just relieved that I'm not the only one dealing with consequences. For the longest time, I worried that I'd be the only one suffering while she moved on without a care in the world. That she'd get her happy ending with Marcus while I picked up the pieces alone. But betrayal has a way of catching up with people. The truth has weight, and eventually that weight becomes too heavy to carry. My therapist asked me recently if I regret what I did that night, if I wish I'd handled things differently. I thought about it for a long time before answering. The truth is, I don't regret it. Not really. Could I have been kinder? Maybe. Could I have pulled her aside privately and confronted her one-on-one? Sure. But would that have changed anything? Would she have been honest if I'd given her the chance to spin another story? I don't think so. Rachel was a master at controlling narratives, at making herself look good no matter what the situation was. If I'd confronted her privately, she would have found a way to make me the villain, to make our friends think I was overreacting or being paranoid. The album didn't give her that option. It showed everyone exactly what happened without any filter or interpretation. And maybe that makes me cold. Maybe that makes me calculating. But after months of being manipulated and lied to, I needed one moment where the truth spoke louder than her excuses. That's what the dinner gave me. Not revenge, not satisfaction, just truth. And sometimes truth is the only closure you need.